神经科学杂志的主编，同时又是这个全球神经再生神经保护协会的主席。他在这个血脑屏障方面，有很深的造就。从他的硕士、博士到他最近出版的几本书来看呢，非常有成就。那么我们现在欢迎呢萨姆教授给我们做讲座。
对。
Thank you very much for this honor.
非常荣幸有这个机会。
Where are my slides?
他的幻灯在哪？
幻灯。
Okay.
会跑出去。
明天晚上都弄定了，明天。水平好高，可以讲。
I would like to say that I feel very honored to be here in Shijiazhuan's second time, and I am grateful to Professor Fung for inviting me here, and the chief of the hospital and the directors. This is just feeling coming home.
非常荣幸能够第二次来到石家庄给大家做讲座，然后非常感谢冯主任的邀请。感觉到非常荣幸，就好像回到了家一样。
Today, I will show you some examples that we are doing together with Professor Fung on some neuroprotective effects of cerebrolysine on brain injury.
今天我将给大家展示几张图片，是我和冯主任一块儿做的研究，有关于在外伤导致的神经创伤中脑过素在其中的神经保护作用。
As you all know, being a neurologist, that in our human brain there is blood-brain barrier that is restricting all the chemicals and drugs into the brain.
作为神经内科的医生，我们都知道有一个血脊髓屏障是能够使这个化学物质有些有毒的化学物质不能够进入脑的那个脊髓内。
So this barrier is always broken down in situations of disease.
在有些疾病的情况下，这个血脊髓屏障就有可能被破坏。
And therefore, its repair is very important if we want to treat brain injury cases.
所以治疗在这方面的治疗就会是非常重要的。
As you all know that in human brain there is not only one or single molecule that are important, so many factors or many molecules play important roles.
我们都知道在大脑当中是没有任何一种化学物质是能够单独发挥作用的，需要很多化学物质共同起作用。
We all know that in various kinds of neurological disorders, this barrier is broken down, and this is because of the cellular stress put on the different kind of cells in the brain.
我们知道，在某些化学情况下，这个机体的平衡是能够被破坏。
So we believe that whether we are working on stroke, ischemia, trauma, or any kind of injury, the drug that is preventing in some cases could be beneficial to all situations.
所以我们相信，在某些情况下，比如说一些化学损害，还有有毒物质的损害的情况下，药物是能够发挥作用的。
Looking for basic aspect, there is no standard model for any brain injury or a spinal cord injury, but we try to do research together with Professor Fung in some laboratory animal models as a collaboration between Uppsala University and Professor Fung.
没有任何一个标准的方法能够没有一种标准的方法能够模拟这个中枢神经系统的损害，能够来模拟临床。我们曾经和那个冯主任共同来研究了几个这个动物模型。
Today I will speak largely on traumatic brain injury and how we have seen that some drugs could be effective.
今天我们将讨论几个这方面的模型，然后看一看药物对它的作用。
As you can see that brain injury could be of various type. This is following trauma. Then we also experience hemorrhagic brain injury. We have vascular brain injury, and there are other ways, anoxic and metabolic brain injury. Also, various kinds of infections can produce brain damage.
这些模型有几种，有外伤性的导致的脑损害，还有出血性的脑损害，血管性的脑损害，以及这个缺氧导致的脑损害，还有感染中毒性的脑损害。
The problem is also complicated when we treat head injury because of so many other previous factors like mental constitutions, antisocial behavior, and using alcohol or substance abuse.
这个情况是相当复杂，比如说在这个治病之前，可能会有一些因素的影响，比如有心理因素，有个性的原因，或者是有些反社会的行为，以及酒精滥用等行为的影响。
So the problem is that when a physician or neurologist or neurosurgeon sees brain injury, it should be important that one should find its three factors under which the brain injury has occurred.
作为一个神经内科或者神经外科的医生的话，这是特别重要的。当他们看到有脑外伤形成的时候，就来研究这个药物的机制以及这个脑外伤形成的机制，以及这个组成成分。
Most of the normal cases we have brain injury by firearms, vehicle accidents like motor vehicle accidents, falls, and other kinds of injuries.
最多的就是火器伤，可以占到39%，然后其次是有这个交通意外，还有跌倒或者其他的外伤。
I show this cartoon. This is from 1848, where a soldier was injured, and you can understand the problems of brain injury is very severe.
这张图是1948年的一个战士受伤的一个情况，你们能够看到这个受伤是什么情况。
I also show this picture. This is made in 1862, telling that brain injury is very difficult to treat.
这张照片主要是告诉我们，这个外伤是非常难治疗的。
I'm showing this American cartoon, and you might have heard that in the United States or in Afghanistan, when American soldiers sometimes they shoot their own colleague or something can happen. This is called friendly fire. Still, United States and other people do not believe, or they are working on that whether their mental problems before or they are having substance abuse can cause this kind of brain injury and violent crime, shooting own colleague or friends.
这是一个美国的 卡通片儿，主要是表示的是很多美国人不相信，但其实他们也会受伤，比如说有暴力的，还有其他的一些情况，也会受伤。
As a neurologist, you all know that brain is a very different organ. There are various areas controlling different aspects of brain function. So any part that is injured, particularly in one case, may not be seen in other patients because in other patients the other part of the brain is injured.
我们知道大脑的不同区域可以管不同的功能，它是一个非常复杂的器官。然后在不同的病人上面可以看到不同的地方受损。
Here, this example, there are 4 different examples of brain injury where shown. If the injury is focal, then the symptoms will be different. If the injury occurs in these parts of the brain, it could produce polar brain injury. You are more familiar than me. And here is diffuse axonal injury when the injury occurs in other parts of the brain, leading to different kinds of brain insults.
这个就是4种不同的脑损伤的一个示意图。第一个是一个局灶性损伤，第二是一个急性损伤，这个教授比较熟悉。然后第三个是一个弥漫性左手损伤，第四是一个继发性的损伤。
This is the first reported case of mesial injury in the anterior skull base trauma, and they have successfully treated this, and it's a very nice report. If one is interested, can go in detail for this article.
这是第一篇有关于这个导弹引起的脑部损伤的一篇文章，这篇文章报道的非常的好。
These 4 pictures are showing the examples that after injury at different parts of the brain, there could be different kind of symptoms where you are more familiar, like vegetative state when this brain stem is injured, and normal consciousness look like this. And if the injury is occurring in the brain stem or the vital center, it produces instant death.
这4个图就是脑损伤以后可以导致4种不同的综合症。第一个是正常意识情况下的脑损伤，然后第二个植物状态可能大部分的神经内科医生都比较熟悉，第三个是闭锁综合症，第四个是一个脑干死亡的一个图。
So we try to create some models of brain and spinal cord injury, and I will tell you that even the injury is produced by same mechanism in the brain and spinal cord, the results could vary.
下面是我们试图做的几个制造的几个脊髓损伤的模型。我会告诉你们，即使同样的脊髓模型，最后做出来的结果有可能是不同的。
There are other factors affecting traumatic brain injury, whether the skull is open after the injury or during the injury, or the skull is not fractured. Also at the time of injury, brain temperature and body temperature and even anesthetics used can affect the outcome of brain injury.
导致外伤性的脑损伤还有还有一些其他的因素，比如说有开放性的脑损伤、闭合性的脑损伤，或者脑部的温度，即使是麻醉也有可能对它造成一定的影响。
So, as you might have understood that there is no single factor that could be responsible for brain injury, and there are also multiple factors involving brain trauma. So it is quite simple to understand that single drug cannot be used to treat symptoms of brain injuries.
你们可能理解说，没有任何一种物质在这个脑损伤当中能够独立发挥作用，所以也就是说，这个没有任何一种药物是能够完全的治疗这个脑损伤的。
So this is a drug called cerebrolysin. It is made in Austria by Ever Pharma, and it has multimodal effects, like it induces neuronal survival, neuronal protection, neuronal plasticity, and even neurogenesis. So this is a multimodal drug, mixture of different kind of good neurotrophic factors and also active peptide compounds. It's already a complex drug mechanism, so it will help various things after trauma by giving single or multiple injections.
所以脑活素这个药物最开始是在奥地利的一个什么农民事实上发明的，然后它那个的作用主要是通过以下几个机制，有这个神经存活机制，对促进神经保护，还有神经重塑以及神经再生机制。这机制主要是通过它的这个化学和分子结构来决定的。
So the drug looks like this is a liquid, ample, and then it should be used in milliliter per kilogram dose. So 2.5 milliliter per kilogram or 5 milliliter per kilogram is the standard dose given intravenously. And these are all other publications that we have done using this drug in different kinds of brain and spinal cord injury.
那左边的这个图就是他们实验室当中使用的这个脑活素，通常的用量大概是2.5毫升每公斤体重。这些是他曾经发表的文章。
So then we wanted to study how two different kinds of brain injury model. In one, this is in rat where the skull is open and a longitudinal incision is made here, and the other that the skull is not open, on which this 114.6 gram weight is dropped. So it produces concussive brain injury, and then we followed brain pathology.
这是两个外伤性导致的脑损伤的模型，右边的这个是在这个上面可以看到开了一个口的，制造是一个开放性的颅脑损伤，左边是一个闭合性颅脑损伤，没开口，但是用了一个141.6的克的重物，然后去击打，导致一个闭合性的脑损伤。
If you can see here, this is closed head injury, and here we have demonstrated this is the left side where the injury was not done. This is the right side where the injury was made. You can see the cell loss is much more prominent on the other side where the injury was made. So this suggests that this is the concussive brain injury. You have injury on right side, cell changes are occurring more on left side.
这张图是闭合性的颅脑损伤，我们可以看到左边的那个它写着是 LH， 左边的部分是没有受到这个撞击的，可以看到这个细胞更加的少，然后右边的是受到撞击的那一边，所以就是闭合性颅脑损伤，它是一个对冲伤，是通常是对侧受损伤更加严重。
Then I will show you open brain injury, where here you can see that a lesion can produce leakage of Evans blue and edema also on the opposite side and in cerebellar area in the rat brain. But when we have treated with drug, you can see that we can just see an incision and the brain swelling is absent here.
这是一个开放性的颅脑损伤，左边图是一个开放性颅脑损伤，可以看到这个有几部分都有损伤，然后右边的 B 是它用药物治疗以后的，我们只能看到一条线。
Since I am an anatomist, so I believe in microscopy. This is also another example that when we study neuroprotection, we can also see at electron microscopy. This is one microvessel, and you can see they were very well protected when the drug was given, as compared to here that the vessels were not so round and there are much open wider spaces.
因为我是搞科学研究，所以更加相信眼睛下面看到的东西。然后这个图跟上一图是同样的道理，就是药物治疗了以后，我们可以看到更多的细胞存活和基础，然后还有下面的这个 A 也是这个放大了，电镜放大了以后的一个效果。上面的那是 PBL 是一个颅脑损伤5小时以后的。
Then I will talk about something on spinal cord injury, and this is our first book when we have recorded spinal cord evoked potential. And I think I and Dr. Kong are doing something together in this aspect too.
那个是他出版的一本书，有关于这个组织诱发电位，然后他希望跟冯主任继续合作，在这方面做一些工作。
And on the same drug, cerebralizing, one of my students did master thesis in spinal cord injury and showed that it produces good results even in nanoparticle-induced toxicity.
这也是他的一个研究生学生做的东西。
I bring here nanoparticles because you know that they are present in the air, they are also present in motor vehicle exhaust. So people are breathing when they are in a long traffic jam or in certain areas where there is much more industrial pollution. So people are inflicted with nanoparticles.
这张图放在这儿，我的意思是想告诉大家，我们是生活在一个充满了纳米离子的一个世界里边儿。比如说，在这个交通阻塞的时候，还有污染的空气，以及其他等等恶劣的环境空气当中，都有很多这个纳米离子。
So when people are inflicted with nanoparticles, and if an injury occurs, it is much more severe. And this is an example. Here, what we have shown that the leakage of albumin here in these two cases. This is the normal cases after a spinal cord injury, and here they were infected with copper nanoparticles. You can see that much more intense reaction is here, and these two are controlled.
然后左右的 AE 是一个正常对照，然后右边的话就可以看到 F 是一个有铜这个纳米颗粒结合了以后，可以看到这更多的这个蛋白泄漏。
And this is the example of different kind of nanoparticles. Here is silver, copper, and here is aluminum, and this is control. So any kind of nanoparticles given before injury produces more adverse effect in the spinal cord.
这是4种不同的纳米颗粒，第一个是银，然后是铜，这边还有一个什么钛。 就可以，意思就是，如果要是在神经损伤之前就已经有纳米颗粒的这种侵袭的话，就效果更差。
This is an example. You can see these nerve cells are damaged in normal situations, and these were even much more damaged when the nanoparticles were given. These 3 cases.
就可以看到，这主要是 B 图那个细胞损害的更加严重，比 A 图。
Under such situations, if we give any drug here in nanoparticle treated injured groups, nothing happens. All are equally injured.
我们可以看到，在这几种情况下，不管使用任何一种药物的话，都变化不大。
Then we started working with, this is Dr. Ryan Tian. He works in University of Arkansas Fayetteville. This is Dr. Wang. He also works in the same institution. They are pioneer in nanowiring, and you can recognize my wife is here, and this is Rashmi. So we collaborated to produce nanowire and drug delivery.
所以这张图后来我们就跟这2位教授合作，他们分别都是美国的一个大学的教授，正在做这个纳米线结合的一个药物的工作，然后可以看到我们针对这方面的工作感兴趣。
The father of nanowiring of cells is Dr. Pudong Yang. He works in Berkeley. He is engineer in profession, but he has contributed the formation of nanowired system.
他是这个纳米线细胞的纳米线之父，然后他正在观察这个纳米线系统，他是这方面的一个专家。
This is the Prime Minister of Sweden, and he also encouraged, this is Aruna, and encouraged working on nanowire delivery of drugs, and I feel very privileged that this is our one of the innovations together with Professor Fung has got National Innovation Award in 2013 in United States, Washington DC.
这是今天在华盛顿会议上，他的妻子和这个瑞典的总理照的一张相，然后他们感觉到非常的荣幸，也是上次邀请中人去，然后没有参加的那个会议。
So I know that this institution is very much interested in stem cells and treatment and therapy, and and we also work now together with Dr. Huang from Beijing. You can also nanowire stem cells.
这是一个神经干细胞，我知道神经干细胞现在是一个热门，我们正在跟北京的黄博士共同做这方面的工作。你们可以看到，这纳米线也可以渗透到神经干细胞当中。
I can just show some examples here, our publications regarding that.
这是有关于纳米线工作的一些相关的已经发表的文章。
And since nanowire preparation are very expensive, this is the former governor of Arkansas, United States, and his wife. And Arkansas government is also supporting our nanowire drug delivery program because this is very expensive. And when stem cells are nanowired, they can live longer in biological system. So this is a new thing that I would like to communicate with you.
这个纳米线技术是一个非常昂贵的技术，这是一个前政府官员和他的妻子，他也曾经支持过我们的工作。
So there could be nanowires created. This is created by Dr. Wang, and one can create of any size. We are using 20 to 30 nanometer size of titanium nanowires.
上面那几个是王教授制作的一种纳米线，然后我们现在使用的是一个20到30纳米的纳米线。
This is the sitting governor of Arkansas, and he is also supporting our work in this area. We are very proud to have our cooperation with the University of Arkansas system and Arkansas government.
这个男的叫基辛格，他也曾经支持过我们的工作，在经济上。
So now you should see the results. Here is this is leakage of albumin, normal spinal cord 5-hour. Given silver, it is much more there, and given cerebrolizin with silver, you see there are results, but not that good. But here you can see also in this case that when nanowired cerebrolizin was given, the results were much more better than cerebrolizin alone.
这几张图表示，第一个是一个正常的是一个脑损害5小时以后的一个图形，看到的里边是一个白蛋白的泄漏。然后第二个是有这个纳米颗粒银参与的5小时，可以看到它比 A 图更加严重。第三个图是使用了脑回素以后，可以看到它变化不是特别的明显。然后下面这些都是加上它们纳米线技术改造以后的药物，然后就可以看到比原来的脑损伤减轻了一些。
This is the Nobel Prize winner in chemistry, Aaron Chikanover. He is very much interested in this kind of work with nanowire delivery, and recently we also met him in Las Vegas, and he is the person who founded ubiquitin in the nervous system that is responsible for various kinds of neuronal function.
这是一个非常有名的化学的诺贝尔奖得主，然后他们当时开会时并不知道他过来，感觉到非常荣幸，然后他对纳米线技术是非常的感兴趣，并且他们共同参加的一个拉斯维加斯的一个会议。
So coming back to this blood-brain barrier, I can show you this example that normal situations, this is leaky barrier to the lanthanum here. This is also seen here. But when drugs were given, this is quite clear that they are not leaky anymore.
这个还是一个白蛋白泄漏，可以看到上面这边黑的是一个白蛋白泄漏，左边是一个受伤以后5小时，然后可以看到下面是使用药物以后的白蛋白泄漏的就非常的少。
These are some example here. This is the amplitude of spinal cord evoked potential under normal situations. After injury, it is completely gone down, but given cerebrolizing, you can see that it is restored.
这个表示的是那脊髓诱发原位，然后左边的这一个是正常的，中间是受损伤以后可以看到它就下来了，后面给了药物以后它就又恢复到正常的水平。